That was a wonderful attempt and interactive speech for all of us. Let's move on to the second speaker. The speaker is again going to give the project number 2, and before I introduce the speaker, let me ask his evaluator to introduce himself.
The speaker is going to present project number 2, organize a speech. Having successfully broken the ice, the speaker is assumed and expected to meet the following objectives. Select an appropriate outline which allows listeners to easily follow and understand your speech. Make your message clear with supporting material directly contributing to that message. Use appropriate transitions when moving from one idea to another, as well as create a strong opening and conclusion. Time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker.
This speaker, he had his first crush and he was this. No. He was not even in a position to ask for her name, remember her name, and know who she was. He had his first crush. He was not as lucky as Master Vishal. He would have been lucky maybe if he remembered who she was, if he remembered what her name was. Now he says his perfect Valentine would be a girl. Our counter may be not. Sometimes fathers are necessary. So he wants his Valentine to be a girl. So gives him full freedom. Do whatever he wants. Of course, he will also give her all the freedom that she wants. Let's welcome this speaker, Toastmaster Anoop, to deliver his project number 2. The title is Terrorism and Nuclear Weapons. Terrorism and Nuclear Weapons, Toastmaster Anoop.
What happened on 26 November 2008? What happened? Mumbai. Yes, you are right. The Mumbai attacks. Have we had enough discussions regarding that? Have we had enough discussions? Well, I think we have had enough discussions. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and the others. I am not going to discuss Mumbai attacks here, but I am going to discuss nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. And why did I mention Mumbai attacks? What connects Mumbai attacks and nuclear weapons? Well, there is a valid theory. The terrorist groups that planned and executed the Mumbai attacks are very well related to some of the extremist political outfits in Western Pakistan. These political groups have good public support among the conservative public, and they calculate that if India retaliates the Mumbai attack and if an Indo-Pak war befalls, they gain more public support and they will gain a heroic persona by fighting an invading country, that is India, and this will eventually help in their ascent towards power in Pakistan. What if such an extremist group comes to power in Pakistan? Pakistan is a nuclear country and these groups will have access to its nuclear weapons. Am I making sense? Is the connection between nuclear weapons and Mumbai attacks more clear now? Is the threat that we are under now is more clear? Currently, there are 9 nations in this world, including India and Pakistan, which have successfully tested nuclear weapons. And it is also alleged that there are many other countries like Syria and Iraq which are developing nuclear weapons. What is the main reason that these nations give for developing and maintaining such weapons of mass destruction? Any guesses? Exactly. They say nuclear weapons is about peace and not about war, and deterrence is the buzzword. There are geopolitical strategists who believe that nuclear weapons prevented the Cold War from turning into a Third World War. They even argue that America would not have attacked Iraq and Afghanistan if these nations had nuclear weapons. Maybe true, but I am not sure. And my question is the theory of deterrence valid in this 21st century when the biggest threat to humankind is terrorism? When evaluating the current political scenario, I feel the theory of deterrence is fundamentally flawed because It presumes a complete understanding of the psychology of your enemy. The theory assumes that what deters you, that is the fear of annihilation, fear of death, will deter your enemy as well. But what about terrorist group psychology? What about the groups who are not deterred by the fear of death, fear of annihilation? How did the 26/11 attacks happen? How did the 9/11 attacks happen? How did Rajiv Gandhi die? So, in today's world, I believe the theory that the fear of death or fear of annihilation will deter war is completely unacceptable. Does anyone of you think that it is impossible for these terrorist groups to gain or acquire nuclear weapons? Does anyone of you think so? If anyone thinks so, please read the editorial of last Wednesday's edition of the newspaper The Hindu. It says about Dr. A.Q. Khan, the father of Pakistan's nuclear program, who illegally masterminded an international nuclear proliferation network. In 2003, he himself had to confess that he shared nuclear technology and instruments to countries such as North Korea and Libya. And who is so sure that nobody is sharing this technology and weapons with terrorist groups such as Al-Qaeda or LTTE? Well, I am not sure. And our world is not safe here. Now that we know that we are under a threat of a nuclear attack, it makes sense to evaluate the potential outcomes of a nuclear war. It makes sense to recall Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Is nuclear war a normal war in which men battle men and countries battle countries? No, it is not. If there is a nuclear war, our enemies will not be nations or terrorists. Our enemy will be the earth herself. Our cities, our forests, our villages and our fields will burn for days. Our rivers will turn to poison. Our air will become fire and winds will spread flames. And when everything there is to burn has burned and the fires die, smoke will rise and shut out the sun. There will be no day, only interminable night. And what shall we do who are still alive? Burned and died and rolled and killed, carrying the cancerous carcasses of our children in our arms? What shall we do? Where shall we go? What shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we breathe? Our world is not safe enough. We are living in the same era as Dr. A.Q. Khan and Mr. Osama bin Laden. And I believe the only way to eliminate this threat of nuclear weapon is total nuclear disarmament. All the nations of this world should come together and decide that we human beings do not need these weapons of mass destruction. And what can we common people, we citizens of the world do about it? We can raise our voice and we can spread awareness. Finally, I would like to quote from Arundhati Roy's elegant essay, The End of Imagination, which she wrote immediately after India's Pokhran nuclear test in 1998. She says, if you are religious, then think this way. This bomb is man's biggest challenge to God. It is worded quite simply. We have the power to destroy everything that you have made. If you are not religious, then look at it this way. This world of ours is 4.5 billion years old.